Welcome to Spoken Injustice, where we put the criminal justice system in the dock. Today's video is about us. Yes, Spoken Injustice, me and you, the Spoken Injustice community. So grab a coffee and join in. As our audience expands, with more comments reaching us here on YouTube and on other social media platforms, as well as on our Spoken Injustice networking hub, I'm witnessing something magical unfolding. This is precisely what I envisioned when I embark on this journey. And for that, I am grateful to you all. You who have subscribed, liked, and shared comments in the last 8 months. So I'm going to start with a big thank you. Thank you for engaging. Today's video is a sui generis one, out of our scheduled plan. I thought that as we grow as a community, it might be worthwhile for us to get to know each other better. Some of you are familiar with me personally, whilst others only know me, and perhaps most of you only know me virtually. So here is a glimpse into a part of my life. And I encourage you to share your own story with us in the comments below, along with the reason for subscribing to our channel and supporting our mission. I'd love to hear from you. As you have luckily discerned from my accent, I am not a native English speaker. Though I'm a British citizen, having acquired citizenship in 2005, I was actually born in Sicily, Italy, and there I spent the first 24 years of my life. The fact that I am not an English speaker not only accounts for my accent, but also for those annoying mispronunciations, interchangeable use of singular and plural, misplaced or omitted S's, and is it Libo or Liba? I'm not still entirely sure about that one. Perhaps unsurprisingly, these recurring errors cost me a very much desired career in advocacy. Strikingly, these errors persist despite having spent more time in this country than in Italy. The point that I'm trying to make is that if you have subscribed to this channel to learn English, you are in the wrong channel. But jokes aside, I hope you can overlook those inaccuracies and instead appreciate the sincerity, truthfulness, and authenticity of my actions and my messages. No gimmicks. No deceit. That's a promise. I wanted to share with you also my professional path. My career was influenced and shaped by impactful events that unfolded around me, leaving a lasting impression. But before I get into the details, if you are enjoying this video so far, a thumb up will be amazing. It helps share the content with others who might be interested in joining our community. And if you want to be part of this community and contribute to our mission of humanizing wrongful convictions, and you have not done so already, consider subscribing to this channel. So what inspired me to become a lawyer? I was born in the 70s, a time when life seemed simpler. We didn't have a TV at home, and every Friday our extended family, about 30 of us, would gather to our grandparents' house to watch a black and white 12 inches TV. Our favorite show was Portobello, named after the famous London markets. Let's take a look.
Signore e signori, buonasera.
The show, which first aired in 1977 and was hosted by Enzo Tortora, was very popular in Italy, drawing an audience of up to 26 million people. However, it came to an abrupt end in 1983 when Tortora was arrested, convicted, and imprisoned, to the shock of the entire nation, for drug trafficking and mafia-related offenses. Here is a clip.
È Enzo Tortora, ma stavolta non lo vediamo davanti alle telecamere che lo hanno reso famoso, bensì tra i carabinieri del reparto operativo di Roma che lo hanno arrestato questa notte all'hotel.
However, immediately after his arrest, voices started to emerge that this was an egregious miscarriage of justice, dividing Italy between those who thought of him as guilty and those who thought of him as innocent. Until 3 years later, on 15th of September 1986, the Court of Appeal in Naples overturned his convictions. Here is a report of that day.
Io sono innocente, io spero dal profondo del cuore che lo siate anche voi.
Assolve per non aver commesso il fatto sotto a Enzo Claudio.
And in 1987 he was declared an innocent man by the Corte di Cassazione, which is the equivalent of the Supreme Court here in the UK. He resumed his show the same year, and on his first appearance he was greeted by an overwhelmingly emotional standing ovation by the public in the studio, which he humbly addressed with, "So, where did we leave off?" which made history in Italy. Let's take a look.
Il 20 febbraio 1987, con il ritorno di Portobello nelle case degli italiani, Enzo Tortora scrive una pagina indimenticabile della storia della televisione.
Dunque, dove eravamo rimasti?
However, tragically, and perhaps unsurprisingly, he passed away the following year from lung cancer. I was only 16 at the time, but that experience fueled my determination to contribute to a fairer criminal justice system. So at 18, I enrolled at the University of Law of Catania, my hometown. However, midway through my law course, 2 bomb explosions, 57 days apart, killed 2 anti-mafia judges in Palermo, Sicily, Giovanni Falcone and Paolo Borsellino. Let's take a look. These events shook me to my core, intensifying my resolve to contribute to a criminal justice system tougher on crime. This created an internal dichotomy within me between the lawyer who wanted to advocate for the innocent and the tough prosecutor who wanted to punish criminals capable of committing heinous crimes. So, upon completing my law course and practice in Italy, I took some time off to reflect and came to England, where I completed a Master of Arts in Advanced European Legal Studies at King's College. It wasn't until 2004 when I secured a case management position within the then Revenue and Customs Prosecution Office, or RCPO for short, that my inner dichotomy reached a turning point. It was at this juncture that I realized that I could advocate for those who claim innocence, albeit indirectly, by contributing to a criminal justice system in which the right person is prosecuted for the right offence, thus ensuring the protection of the innocent. So after passing the solicitor's conversion exams and qualifying as a solicitor for England and Wales, I was appointed as a prosecutor initially within the RCPO and subsequently progressed as a specialist prosecutor within the Crown Prosecution Service, where I served until October 2022. So why did I prematurely conclude my prosecutorial career and decide to swing the pendulum towards the advocate for those who claim innocence? Well, that is a more intricate story tied to a personally disconcerting event, which I promise to share in an upcoming video not too far in the future. For the time being, and as I revealed previously, it suffices to say that I have been a secondary victim of a wrongful conviction. Chances are that whatever emotion, feeling, experience you as a direct or secondary victim of a miscarriage of justice are going through, chances are that I have experienced or I am experiencing it too. So you can trust me that I have first-hand insight. That first-hand insight is essential if we want to achieve our primary mission of humanizing wrongful convictions. It seems an appropriate time to share again what we mean by humanizing wrongful convictions. Humanizing wrongful convictions involves recognizing and acknowledging the profound impact these wrongs have on individuals and society. It goes beyond legal aspects and statistics. It involves literally digging into personal stories and experiences of those who have been wrongfully convicted. This concept emphasized the need to empathize with the individuals affected, considering the emotional, psychological, and social toll of such miscarriages of justice. Exploring restorative justice approaches is another dimension of humanizing wrongful convictions. This requires not only rectifying the legal errors, but actively working towards repairing the harm caused to individuals and communities through a more compassionate and inclusive process. Let's deconstruct this concept in 8 smaller, manageable steps. Humanize. The H in humanize stands for harm. Humanizing wrongful convictions begins with acknowledging the psychological trauma endured by the wrongfully convicted, the emotional toll of being wrongly incarcerated, stigmatized, and isolated have lasting effects on mental health. The U stands for urgent. Humanizing wrongful convictions demands an urgent critical examination of systemic flaws within the criminal justice system. It calls for ongoing efforts to reform policies, procedures, and legal frameworks to prevent future injustices and ensure a fair and equitable legal process that ultimately leads to full exoneration. The M stands for mend. Humanizing wrongful convictions requires to go beyond exoneration, addressing the challenges faced by the wrongfully convicted upon reintegration into society, rebuilding shattered lives, restoring reputations, and providing necessary support for mental health are integral components of this process. The A stands for awareness. Elevating public awareness through education and advocacy is key to humanizing wrongful convictions. This is part of our mission. By understanding the complexity and nuances of these cases, society can actively engage in discussions about necessary reforms and preventative measures. The N stands for network. Recognizing the collateral damage inflicted on families, friends, and community is crucial. Wrongful convictions have a ripple effect that goes beyond the individual directly implicated. They also leave lasting scars on their loved ones and the larger community surrounding them. This broader perspective highlights the need for a support network for those impacted. I stands for influence. Influence a culture change. Make sure that you motivate others to scrutinize the truths presented in trials. Exercise critical judgment when embracing or dismissing others' conclusions. Examine the primary evidence that they relied upon to formulate their conclusions and the underlying reasons. The S stands for sharing. Sharing the personal narratives of those who have endured the consequences, which is exactly what we're doing here at Spoken Injustice. Each individual has a unique story, highlighting the vulnerabilities in the criminal justice system and the human cost of errors. The E stands for empathy. Cultivating empathy and compassion for the wrongfully convicted fosters a more holistic approach to addressing the aftermath and calls for a shift in perspective from viewing wrongful convictions as mere legal anomalies to understanding them as life-altering events. In conclusion, humanizing wrongful convictions is about acknowledging the humanity at the heart of these cases and advocating for a criminal justice system that willingly embraces self-reflection. A criminal justice system unafraid to uncover its own errors, willing to express outrage at internally caused wrongful convictions, and ready to fully embrace the exoneration process. A criminal justice system that goes beyond exoneration, that promptly addresses and rectifies the consequences of wrongful convictions by actively supporting the reintegration of those wrongfully convicted, providing the necessary support network to restore their reputations and improve their mental, physical, and financial conditions. I hope you found this video inspiring, and if so, please like it and allow a wider circulation of this video. And if you have not done so already, please subscribe to this channel to be part of our community and help us with our mission to humanize wrongful convictions. Remember to include in the comments below something about you and your reasons for being part of our community. We look forward to hear your stories. Finally, join our networking hub at spokeninjustice.net. Your presence will add another powerful voice to our ongoing conversation about making positive change and addressing the shortcomings in our criminal justice system. Join us again next week. We look forward to usher you as we sit and rise in this unique trial.